Here we are once again, my brothers and sisters, for another Living Hope Today study. I want to welcome you, say thank you for being on this journey with me, and get ready because today we are in Judges chapter 12. And those Ephraimites, they just have some kind of problem. I don't know what their problem is, but some sort of inferiority complex or fear of being left out or something. But you remember the book of Judges is like a giant descending ladder that keeps getting worse and worse, from bad to worse to terrible. Well, we're on the descent today. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. When you get to Genesis chapter 12, verse 1, what do you see? The men of Ephraim called out their forces, crossed over to Zaphon, and said to Jephthah, you remember, Jephthah's just won a victory over the Ammonites. Why did you go to fight the Ammonites without calling us to go with you? We're going to burn down your house over your head. This isn't just please apologize. We're going to openly attack you. Israelite against Israelite, brother on brother, because you were left out of the battle. Well, big problem. Remember back in chapter 8, right? Ephraim shows up with Gideon and says, hey, why didn't you call us? This seems to be a thing with Ephraim. I don't know why this tribe of people feels so left out when they don't get invited to war, but they are definitely upset about it. They're going to burn his house down now. Jephthah is going to receive punishment from them. Well, Jephthah says what? I and my people were engaged in a great struggle with the Ammonites, and although I called you, you didn't save me out of their hands. And when I saw that you wouldn't help, I called you guys. You didn't show up. I took my life in my hands. I crossed over to fight the Ammonites, and the Lord gave me the victory over them. Now why have you come up today to fight me? Here we go. Things are going from bad to worse. Jephthah then called together the men of Gilead and fought against Ephraim. All through the book of Judges so far, the battle has been enemies against Israel versus Israel. But now in chapter 12 of the book of Judges, we see that now it's Israeli against Israeli fighting each other. So the Gileadites, these are the guys with Jephthah, they struck them down because the Ephraimites had said, you Gileadites are renegades from Ephraim and Manasseh. So there might be a clue as to why they don't like Jephthah. They don't feel like maybe they're wholesome enough, pure enough, in the line of purity like they should be because, Jephthah's mom was a prostitute. And okay. Anyway, in the end, they fight. That's the point. The Gileadites captured the fords of the Jordan leading to Ephraim, and whenever a survivor of Ephraim said, let me cross over. Okay, now, here you go. The Gileadites, Jephthah and crew, they handle these Ephraimites without any big problem, but now they control who goes across the Jordan, right? So when a survivor came up to them and said, hey, let me cross over, the men of Gilead asked him, are you an Ephraimite? Well, you'd expect if you wanted to survive and save your life, you'd say, no, I'm not one of those guys. Let me cross over. So they had this system invented. They said, all right, say Shibboleth. Well, okay, if he said Sibboleth because he could not pronounce the word correctly, they seized him and killed him at the fords of the Jordan. Okay, so if you can't say it right, we know that because of your accent, you are an Ephraimite, and that means you get the death sentence. So it says here at the end, 42,000 Ephraimites were killed at that time. Just think of the bloodshed. 42,000 of your brothers die. Moses had to be turning over in his grave. I mean, it just has to be so horrible. 42,000 of your brothers are eliminated. Jephthah led Israel 6 years. Then Jephthah and the Gilead died, and was buried in a town in Gilead. So now we start to get these summation statements that talk about judges, okay? Jephthah, he exits the stage after 6 years in control. After him, Ibzan of Bethlehem led Israel. Okay, what do we know about Ibzan? Almost nothing is the answer to that. Here's verse 9. He had 30 sons and 30 daughters. Okay, now there is something about this guy that we do know that to me doesn't sound good. He gave his daughters away in marriage. Okay, well, that's fine. But wait, to those outside his clan. Okay, so now he's not building his tribe up. He's not staying within the boundaries of his own organization, so to speak. He's going outside. And for his sons, he brought in 30 young women as wives from outside his clan. Okay, maybe that's going to lead to trouble, maybe not. But he shouldn't do that. Ibzan led Israel 7 years. Then Ibzan died and was buried in Bethlehem, and after him Elon, the Zebulunite, led Israel for 10 years. Then Elon died. Notice we're not really told anything about him. Then Elon died and was buried in Ahijalan in the land of Zebulun. Okay, we're just doing some historical bookkeeping here. After him, Abdon, son of Hillel, from Pirathon, led Israel. He had 40 sons and 30 grandsons who rode on 70 donkeys. I still haven't really gotten to the bottom of why the author wants to tell us how many donkeys are involved from time to time. But here we're told again, 70 donkeys. He led Israel 8 years. Then Abdon, son of Hillel, died and was buried at Pirathon in Ephraim in the hill country of the Amalekites. All right, so we've gone through a list. Well, we're almost through all the people in the book of Judges that are listed as judges. Okay, let me show you. Let's see, who have we seen so far? We saw Othniel. He was the first judge mentioned. Then Ehud. Then Deborah. You might also include Barak with Deborah, but the focus of the story really is on Deborah. Then we saw Gideon. Then we've just gone through this Jephthah and his escapades. I think I misspelled his name, sorry. And then the last major judge we'll see for the next 4 chapters of this book is Samson. We haven't got to him yet. But there's some minor guys who just sort of get honorable mention. You remember Shamgar and Tola and Jair and Ibzan and Elon and Abdon. These guys get mentioned as judges. You remember judges are there to deliver people out of trouble once they repent to God, but we're not really told in every case what the trouble was, but we're going to journey on to Samson in the next few days to understand how God judges the enemies of Israel through Samson and how God rescues his people through Samson. But again, this is going to reinforce the theme of the book of going from bad to worse, because Samson himself is a major part of the problem. But we'll see that next time. God bless you, church. Serve him well today.
Who is it who for sinners shed his blood, and now for cleansing all can plunge beneath that flood? It's Jesus. But do you know who he is? He's the image of the invisible God, and he's the brightness of his glory, the first, the last, the future, the past. He is God.